What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are at VIR today with, as you can tell, the race car. As you can tell by the title of this video, tomorrow we'll have the GT350. Today is the race car. This car hasn't been out since October of last year, so I'm kind of just feeling it out. I'm going to do a race up in New Jersey, most likely. So I kind of just wanted to get it out for a shakedown day. Haven't done too much. I did soften the rear spring rate a little bit because this car has always been a little bit loose. That's really about it on the race car. Not a whole lot going on, so we're just going to kind of turn some laps today, see how we do. Alright guys, so first session is done. That was a lot of fun. I'm going up to D group.
C group, 10 minutes. C group, 10 minutes.
So I was in C group. I probably should have put myself in D, but since this car hasn't been out in so long, it was like, I think I played it too safe. But anyway, so next session, I think there's less cars and just generally quicker cars. I should be able to get some clean laps. Balance of the car. The only things I changed since I was out with this car last year, I went to 750 springs in the rear from 850s. I took out all the ballast. Since I'll be running ST2, I can take weight out of the car. Oh, and the diffuser is on. I don't know if I showed this earlier. So, you know, we put our diffuser back on, but we do not have the floor on the car. I'm gonna kind of come up with something different now that weight. In a previous video, I made a flat floor out of a 3/4 sheet of plywood because I needed to add weight to the car. Now I need to remove weight from the car. Always something. And I don't have the ability to tune the car, because that'd be nice. You could just make more power to be in the ratio, but I don't have that ability, so I kind of got to do it with weight. The tires are the 275s for the morning 2 sessions. I got my 315s with me. I'll put them on in the afternoon sessions, but I think I'm up to like 12 or so heat cycles on them, so it's like they're kind of beyond their, you know, good range. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm not expecting anything too crazy. But otherwise, I mean, car felt great. The rear feels much more stable. Probably a combination of less weight, because all the ballast was kind of around this point of the car, under the car. The diffuser definitely puts a little more downforce on the rear, and the spring. So all things considered, car's feeling good. Didn't look at data yet, but I'll probably do that after the next session. All right, guys, that session was a lot of fun. Going out in the faster group, I got some clean laps, and I got all the way down to a 202. Oh, it's not on. A 202.0. I did a 202.2 and I believe a 202.6 in that session, knocking right on the door of 201s. I did have a 201 for predictive, but then I ran into a Volkswagen Beetle of all things in the last turn, so that kind of ruined that lap. This session, I was just looking over data. So here we have my laps from today. So there's my 202.0, 202.2. That 206.3 was morning run. That's just kind of, I got that up there. And that 204.1 was my best last season. So, you know, remember from earlier in the video, the handful of changes I made, you can see how much more speed I carry through. I think that's the top of the S's right here. Let's bring up the GPS. Yeah, or I guess through the S's, really. So huge speed delta there. Right there, that would be top of the S's. That would be slowing down for, I believe, turn 11, Oak Tree. The interesting part is if we come all the way out here, if we look at our top speed, last year I was doing 143.5. Now I'm only 140, 139.6. So I lost a little bit of mile an hour. Now I do have the diffuser on the car. So yeah, I'm gonna drop the diffuser. I believe the wind's kind of about, you know, the same. See if I regain that 3 mile an hour or not. The car's probably gonna get a little bit looser, would be my guess. But yeah, just kind of, it'd be cool to do a back-to-back diffuser, no diffuser. And then last run today will be the put the 315s on the rear, but again, only on the back of the car. That's gonna be a little bit of a funny setup as well. So yeah, just testing stuff out today and see how we do.
Testing in the paddock. First call. Secret, 10 minutes.
And it's out. All right, guys, something we're gonna try out on this one. Well, we're testing out a little bit of FlowViz. We got some there, some under there, and some on there, and a bunch of drops on the floor. I didn't notice when we did all that. We're not putting a ton on because we don't know if we got the mix quite right. But yeah, we'll kind of start seeing what happens. All right, so FlowViz did about what we thought. You can kind of see flow paths of it. Flow path of the front. The funny thing is, you can see, even though we kind of put a glob on the front there, you can see it inside of the tunnel in there. Then on the back, kind of see the flow paths. Like, I know it's kind of going down and under here, but you know, you can kind of see really how bad. So that was kind of cool. The other thing, without the diffuser, I just downloaded data, and my top speed this morning, with the diffuser on, I did 140 point somethings a handful of times. That was about it. Dropped the diffuser, took the diffuser off, and top speed was 140.2. So interesting data point there. The car was noticeably looser. You'll probably see my hands working the steering wheel quite a bit more. I only did a 203.9. I wasn't pushing maybe 10 tenths. But 9.5 tenths. I was pushing pretty hard, so where am I going with this? So yeah, the car definitely lost something without the diffuser, which is pretty cool. So I'll pop that back on. Right now we're gonna swap to 315s, make sure they don't hit our arches, just to make sure we're good to get 315s on all four corners for the race coming up. And so so last session, you know, again, just kind of testing a few things. I think we're gonna FlowViz a few more parts and see what we get. So we're gonna FlowViz the diffuser. probably like, what, maybe a stripe across each tunnel or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's all gonna go
Yep.
drip down. We'll get to see over the top of the diffuser too.
Yep. Well, there it goes.
Go for it. And then do like this as well. Yeah. Because it might just flow in that crack. Whoops. All right. So we'll see how much flows. All right. Let me get this on, and then I gotta get dressed. All right, guys, that session, I'm really happy with how that one went. Finally got into the 201s. I did a 201, 201.85. So excited about that. All things considered, using like the old ass 315s, but 275s in the front, and the diffuser was back on. So the car went from like loose last session to having a bit of a push this session. With the diffuser back on and the larger tires, top speeds I was seeing was like mid 139s, when no diffuser, again, was like, I saw like a 140.2, but morning sessions I was also seeing like 140 something. So kind of cool. Diffuser, no diffuser, back to diffuser, there's practically zero difference in top speed, but the rear grip is noticeable for sure. Speaking of diffuser, we did a little more flow viz, so you can see, let's see, some of it coming up this tunnel. Kind of interesting. We did that, and we did the wing. We didn't quite put enough on, so it didn't quite make it up to the second element, but you know, you can see, you know, wing's working like we know it does, because it's been CFD'd, wind tunnel and all that stuff, but just kind of cool playing with flow viz. Let's see, tires times flow viz, but yeah, all things considered, I'll get new 315s before next event, and I think that's about it for this car. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to load this one up, take it home, and we'll be right back here tomorrow with with the GT350. Well, good morning everybody. We are back at VIR, and obviously we have the GT350 today. We're going to be trying out a ton of stuff, or maybe not trying out. Since the last time on track, this car has gotten, I went from 350 1,000-pound springs to 400, 1,100 in the rear. Made myself adjustable sway bar end links, gave it a proper corner balance alignment, carbon trunk. The wing was already on it, the canards were already on it. These are going to be new. I talked about these in a previous video, but these are wind tunnel tested parts from a CFD design. We do have our carbon under tray. You can't see them. Our brake deflectors are in there. Whoa, what else? Oh, race seat. That'll probably be the biggest feeling change, is having an actual race seat, being able to feel the car a little bit more. The rear end has solid bushings in the control arm and toe links now, and rear subframe lockouts. I think that might be it. Remove the e-brake, remove the passenger seat. The car lost 120 pounds or something. So yeah, I think that's about it. We're finally like at a point where I really want to start like finally shooting for lap times on this thing. It's going to be hot today. If you're familiar with VIR, if it's a hot day, like the track just slows up like 1 to 2 seconds. But anyways, we'll kind of do what we can do. Let's see, the big one is, if you noticed, the splitter is way off of the ground right now. You can see the wheel well gap. And I'm trialing something new here to make it much easier to load this car on and off the trailer. And if you look in, you could see this one actually, not quite sure how that happened, but it rotated around on me. But anyways, I 3D printed these little spring lockout spacers, and I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I believe that's like a 1/2 inch spring shim. So like that, along with locking out a large chunk of the spring, allows the splitter to be, I don't know, 5 or so inches off of the ground. I'll show you how easy it is to pop them out. So we're just gonna jack the car up. Now I'm gonna slide a jack stand, oops, fairly far underneath of the subframe. Because right now the sway bar is holding this wheel up. So what I'm gonna do, I'll put it down so you guys can see.
First call, 10 minutes orientation lap.
When I let the jack down, this wheel will come down more. And then you just come in, you pull out the, so here's the thick spacer. And then these are a size that just kind of like snap in, but will just kind of hang out in there. Last two. And I'm gonna do the same to the other side real quick. All right, so they're all out. Get the jack stand out. And when we let it down, you know, car comes back down to its proper ride height. So pretty simple, easy. I only needed one little set of boards on the trailer right there. You know, nothing under the tires or like jacking up the front or anything. You know, so just a solution I think is kind of easy. But anyways, a few tiny little things just to check on the car, and then we'll do first session. All right guys, session 1 is done. I gotta apologize for the funky camera angle. One thing that slipped my mind is with the head restraint seat, there's no room for the camera anymore. So gone are the helmet cam shots, unless I can maybe find some other way. for today, I don't have, I'm at VIR. TMI is here. I could maybe go look at mounts or whatever. I know I have a suction mount and a roll bar mount for GoPros at home. So it's a little bit silly to buy one just for today. So anyways, I had to like turn the camera all the way in. Otherwise, I couldn't turn my head to look out the passenger mirror. So that was new. Other thing, car feels pretty good. It's a big change from yesterday. Even though it has our Fulcrum 14, our splitter, canard, side plates, you know, I know this car makes good downforce. It's been in the wind tunnel, so I know what it does. But compared to the race car, it's kind of low downforce, comparatively speaking. Being on street tires, heavier car, it's just, that session was just weird to get used to. The biggest change was this thing can rev out to 8,000 RPM. The race car, I shift around 6,500. So shift points, that was odd. Kind of relearning shift points. Had a 208, that misfire thing started happening again, where for like a lap or two, it drops a cylinder or two, and you could just feel it down on power, and then it kind of picked back up. Very, very weird. So anyways, all things considered, just kind of getting re-comfortable in it. My best in this car was a 206.0 earlier this year on a pretty cool day. Will I get there? Hopefully. As far as balance goes, splitter scraping was much reduced. So the 400-pound springs on the front, good move there. The car doesn't push as much as it did, so the 1100 and tightening up the rear sway bar, I think kind of, you know, brought the car a little closer to balance. So I just got to get comfortable in it. All right, guys, sorry I couldn't bring you along with me, but new personal best. Previous best I ever went in this car was a 206.0. That session, I just got down to a 205.1. So almost a complete second faster. I wanted a 204 that session so bad, but it is getting hot out. You can just see the sun is just cooking everything. So having said that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go quicker this afternoon. But what I am gonna do, the rear sway, the car still has a little bit of a push through turn 1. I guess that would be like 5, Oak Tree, any of the slow mechanical turns. High speed stuff, it feels great. So my one adjustment option really is a stiffer rear sway bar. I drilled a third hole in it to give me an even stiffer setting. I think I'm going to try that out, see how it does. Even if I don't go faster, if it kind of, the car's balance feels a little better, I think that'd be a win. But yeah, I'm happy with a very low 205. So we got lunch coming up. I'm gonna let the car cool off a tad, and then make those few tweaks and afternoon sessions. So I'm sitting here during lunch, going over data, a few kind of neat things. You can see up in this corner, this was earlier this year with this car. I did a 206.0. There's my 205.2 and 205.1 from today. Just for fun, my 201.8 from the race car yesterday. First thing you can note is the top speed difference. So the orange is the race car. Red is this car earlier this year, which is a bit funny because that's only 142. Race car hit 139, but today I'm hitting 146, 147. So that much of a mile an hour change. Is there less of a headwind or something? I didn't really do anything to the car drastic. I did the side plates on the splitter. We did do our carbon fiber under tray, but I mean, that's like an exact copy of an OEM under tray, you know. Our brake deflectors, you know, they see some airflow, but like not 4 or 5 mile an hour top speed difference. So I'm having a little hard time explaining that one. So yeah, so obviously race car top speed's much worse, but you can see how much quicker I am through like all like the twisty bits and getting through onto the front straightaway and everything. How much time I make up through here, even through turn 1, turns 2, 3, 4 back there. I'm just like a little bit quicker anywhere down here. I just lose a little bit in the top end. Same thing on the front straight, I'm down a little bit too, you know. Now, interestingly, if I bring up the intake air temps, earlier in the year we were at 81, and today we're at 95 and 93. So much hotter today than earlier in the year. So again, like I was mentioning earlier, with the sun coming out and cooking everything, I'm not really expecting to do much better this afternoon. But yeah, just diving over some data. I think it's kind of neat seeing how different the two cars are. But yeah, second session in, just getting more comfortable in the car, relearning the shift points of this car versus yesterday and everything. So far so good. Car is still doing that misfire thing, which is a bit annoying because then I gotta kind of putt around for a lap or two until it clears up, and then it's good for a while. I don't know. So yeah, you know, just like any other time I brought this car out, always learning something, tinkering with something. So I'll make those few changes and see what we can do this afternoon. All right, just so you can see what I'm doing, you can see this third hole right here. This is a Ford Racing sway bar, which normally comes with these front two holes. I just drilled this third hole in it since there's room, why not? So we're gonna try it out in the stiffest, now the new stiffest setting, and see how we like it. All right guys, that session went really well. Finally got into the 204s. I got a 204.9. So there it is, 204.94. So yeah, really happy with that. The sway bar adjustment helped out a little bit. It felt like it didn't push quite as bad, but it still did. I kind of got some options, or I got some ideas for the future. Today I'm kind of out of options. I could go up with rear spring rates, maybe tinker with the front a little bit, but anyways, super happy about 204s. This session, all I really did, I took a tiny bit of wing out of it. Now, it's a mechanical push in the slow turns. The high-speed stuff, the car feels pretty good. I don't know, I figured I got a session, let me at least change something a tiny bit. So I took a little bit of wing out of it, but that's really about it. We'll see how the car feels as hot as it is. I don't know if I'm gonna be setting a new personal best. Got into the fours today, so happy about that anyways. But yeah, last session of the day, let's see. Alright guys, so that's about it for today. I was able to get a 205.4 and a 205.5. Couldn't quite get another 204, but wasn't quite expecting it with the heat. Honestly, that 1 degree of wing, I got a little bit loose at the top of the S's, which is a little bit sketchy. You know, because I'm that fine-tuned on the Aero balance. All the other parts we were testing today, or that we made, if you watched all, you know, any of our past videos, the car ran pretty good. Still doing that odd misfire thing. And funny enough, very last session on my cooldown lap, it did that thing where it like overcharges and cuts off and no power steering. Extremely lucky it happened on like my cooldown lap. So that's a bit of a head scratcher as well. But otherwise, 204.9 is now my new best in this thing. Got a couple of ideas of stuff I want to, you know, change, improve upon. And we'll be back for another event at some point. I think that's where we're going to wrap this one up. As always guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.